For you, please post my story as anonymous. I am one of your newest followers and I wish to share with you my own story. My story, it is directed to those sisters and brothers that think that if you just have a normal job, then it means that you are not succeeding in life. Maybe you are a failure. Today, I want to share with you my own experience and to show you that it does not matter where you are in life right now. It does not mean that you are a failure. It is only that you are projecting your failures against the successes of other people that you do not even know. It might be someone that you know from your community who is making it big in life, but you do not know where their money exactly is coming from. Because if you knew what other people touch at night in order for their businesses to thrive, you would thank God where you are right now, even if you are just working a normal job. You would not wish to be in the shoes of a person who did ukutwala. Right now, I run a catering business and I do have some tenders that I have been running, and money has been coming to me so nice and clean. But even if I give a testimony in church, do you think that I will ever stand in front of the church, the whole church, and then I tell them that my money came through sangomas? I am always going to lie, but to you, I want to tell you the truth. If you look at me carefully, if you see me going to church, carrying my Bible, singing in church, you will think that I have always been walking in the light of the Lord. If you see me running my catering business with my backies that I have, you will think that this woman, she knows how to work hard. There is a secret behind my success. I am telling you the honest truth today, brother. If you were to see me back then, when I used to practice real witchcraft, when the witchcraft spirit was fully possessing my body, you would faint or collapse right where you are standing. You will never be able to look at me twice, considering the things that I used to do back in those days. Your heart will stop working. So I am someone that is living a very comfortable life. I am staying in the suburbs. I do not wish for anything. The only thing that I wish was to change back the hands of time so that I can return back to the past to ask God for forgiveness for the sins that I committed against Him, if He is willing to forgive me, because I really messed up and I messed up big time. My name hidden. Do not tell them my real name. I'm scared that maybe there might be someone that will understand this story and connect it to my name. I am a South African woman. I was born and I was raised here in Gauteng. So my mother, she was Zulu, and my father came from Mozambique. So I do not have any village where I can say that this is the province from where we came from. I just grew up in Gauteng. This is where my cousins who later came from Mozambique are also staying. The whole family, we just stay in Joburg. So my journey into Satanism, it started after I had a terrible fight with my husband because he wanted us to stay with another woman, and I chased that woman out of my home. And my husband, he started threatening to kill me, threatening to shut my business. He would come to the taxi rank, he would threaten me. There were those that wanted to fight with him, but my husband, he was feared even by taxi drivers because of the work that he was doing of robbing people. So because of all of these things that were happening, I started to speak with some of my cousin sisters. There was one of my cousin sister who had gone back to Mozambique. Upon her return, she then gave me a clay pot. The first time that I touched Muti with my own hands, it was through a clay pot that my sister came with from Mozambique. And then she told me that I was supposed to start cooking pap for my husband inside of that clay pot. And it was really weird. Before, my ex-husband would have come to see me at night because we were not that much into each other, but because of the kids that we had together, there were times when he would come and sleep over at my house, and he would do this by force, by the way. So I would always cook pap inside of that clay pot. I did not know that this was like slow poison. The food that I was cooking for him, it was going to poison him to death. As time went on, I realized what was really happening. The slow poison started working, and he started to suffer from stomach cancer until he passed away. And I was lonely at that time. I now knew that if you can use charms on a person, that person can die or you can have a lot of money. I did not want to be just a witch whereby I will be bewitching people. I wanted to have charms that was going to make me to become rich. And it was in the year 2014. That was the year that my life changed its direction completely. I met a man from Malawi. This husband of mine, he is someone that is very quiet. He does not complain. He does not do anything. He was living in a rented room in the same community where I had been staying. So I started to see him because I had heard that he was a sangoma. Since I wanted to increase my customers because I was selling at the taxi rank, to those that would want to start selling your pap, cooking pap, or a little chisanyama at the taxi rank, before you do it, I want you to listen to my story, because even if you do not want to use charms, they are going to use charms against you. Those elderly women that you see, in order for them to get customers, they will be using charms. So I would go to this Mozambican Sangoma who became my husband. He had a muti shop right close to the main entrance of our local taxi rank. So I went to him because I wanted charms. He started to give me a lot of charms. He told me that he had came to South Africa a very long time ago, and later on he went with me to the river to cleanse me. That was when he started to tell me that he was in love with me. By the middle of 2014, we were married in a small traditional ceremony, and I started to move my things into his house so as to save. At that time, I was running a small roadside catering business, selling into the rank as well. But like I told you, I was facing a lot of bad luck because the women that cook pap inside the taxi rank, they do not want others to thrive, to start their businesses, because they don't want people to be overcrowded. So I had a small shack that was set close to the taxi rank, but this was a place where the taxis would park whilst they are waiting to join the queue, and then they can go to the rank where they are going to be loaded. So I would cook pap, beef stew, chagalaka, but my business, it was a total failure. Rather, day after day, I would try everything, but it was not working. When I would go to the main taxi rank, I would see people lined up queuing for those women that I am saying that they were using charms against me. I then sat down with my husband and I told him that I was losing a lot of money, and before I had met him, I had fallen into deep debt with a machonisa, and that man was threatening to come and to strip my mother's house of its furniture, and I did not know what else I could do because their interest, it was really high. It kept on climbing and climbing. One evening, it was in November of 2014, I came back to our house. I was crying. I had met one of the machonisa and he had grabbed my phone saying that he was going to sell the phone that he had taken away from me so that we can use that phone to settle some of the debt that I was still owing. And this phone, it was just going to cover up for the interest that I was owing to him. I told him that I was going to look for a job as a maid in the white suburb where two of my cousin sisters were working, but the pay that they were earning, it was not a lot. So my husband, he then sat down and he said, are you sure about what you want me to do for you? Because me and my husband, we had been fighting, for he had told me that he had other charms that he had which could help me to become rich using my canteen, but he did not want to give me those charms so that I can make a lot of money. That is why he was asking me if I was sure about the things that I wanted him to do for me. And I said, yes, I am sure. Why do you think that I am not sure? He said, my wife, you do not understand the things that you want to get involved into. You see me, I could have become rich here in South Africa, but there is a reason why I sell these technologies to these South Africans that do not know the consequences of having technologies that are working for you. I know how to create these things, and I would not want my wife to use a technology in her business. We had a fight, and after that argument, he saw that I was bored with him. I was thinking of going to the suburbs to work as a maid and not to return to the location. I was just saying that so as to make him to be afraid of losing me. He then said, okay, dress up. We are going somewhere. I then took one of my jackets and I was wearing my winter boots. We then went to the graveyard. When we arrived at the graveyard, he said, I want you to take grass, and this grass, you are going to put it in between your breast. So I took the grass, and it was not a lot, and I put it in between my breast. He said, every time when you are at work, you are supposed to whisper to this grass as if it is a person. You are going to be calling all of these people that are buried close to this place where you have taken the grass. So all their spirits, they will wake up and they are going to be your marketing team. They are going to come and to call taxi drivers to come and eat at your canteen. Even someone that is just going around doing their business in town for no reason, they will come to your canteen and buy the food. But you need to know that there are things there are things that you are not supposed to do. I am not supposed to sleep with you. Again, I can only sleep with you when you are on your periods. I wanted to become rich, and I was terrified that those Machonisa, they were going to harm my brother as well as my mother. So I did not even hesitate when he told me that this was what was going to be happening between us in our marriage. We could only sleep with each other when I was on my period. So after that, we then returned back to the location, and he made me to bath myself with coriander as well as white rice in the middle of the night. We were outside and it was so chilly cold, and then we went back indoors. The next day, he accompanied me to my canteen and he taught me the things that I was supposed to do, to cook the stew using my urine and to always wear my underwear, because I had this shower cap that I would be wearing when I was at work. But what people did not know, my customers, even another girl that I found, a Zim woman that started to work for me, she did not know that underneath my cap, my shower cap, there will be an underwear that I would have folded neatly. This would be the underwear that I would have been wearing the previous day. And when I returned back home, instead of washing it after bathing, I would not wash it. I'll just put it inside of my shower cap and wear it throughout the day. Rather, whenever I was at work, I will start to speak with the spirits from the grave where we went to collect their spirits, and the people, they started to come to me. There were a lot of people that were coming to buy my pap. Some were even mechanics, and these were people that owned garages. They would say that they want to place an order every day from their workers. Maybe it is about 5 guys. So I already know that I have 5 plates that are already sold. The taxi drivers, they will propose love to me. But what I did not know was that, Brother Nashim, there were other things that I was supposed to do. It was not all about sleeping with my husband when I was on my period. Later on, after about 3 months, when we bought our first vacuum, I returned back home. I was really tired. And then I saw him. He was in bed. He did not want to speak that much with me. I asked him what was wrong. Were we fighting? And he said, no, we are not fighting. Look underneath the bed. When I looked underneath the bed, I screamed because I saw that there was a snake that was underneath the bed. I asked him, why was he not killing that snake? He laughed at me and he said, it is not the snake that you think it is. It is a dogology. Like I told you, I would not want my wife to use a dogology in her business. This is the consequences of the actions that we did when we went to collect the spirits from the graveyard. So this is our child now that we have. We have to feed this snake. So I started to cry and I asked him, how exactly is this snake supposed to be fed? He remained quiet for a very long time. After some time, that was when he said, we need to look for a plot where they are selling goats, and we go and we buy a goat and we go into the bushes where we slaughter these goats alone in the bushes, and then we drink the blood as well as to offer the blood to this snake. For this snake is the one that is going to be taking care of us. I agreed, Brother Nashim. 2 weeks later, we went to this other farm that belonged to a white guy. He sold one of his goats to us. We drove straight from the farm deep into the bushes where we slaughtered the goat. Me and my husband, we then drank that blood. When we were returning back to the location, I could even see the snake. It was moving on the dashboard. My husband told me that I was not supposed to even worry. I then started to get tenders supplying food to schools, hospitals, as well as municipal conferences. I won't mention the provinces where I am having these tenders. So what I did not know was that this snake, it had to make me to become pregnant. This snake has impregnated me 3 times ever since I started to see this dogology as a snake. So the snake, it comes to me, it sleeps with me. The way that it sleeps with me, it is a big python, then it sleeps on my stomach, and then it puts its tail inside of my private part until I feel its tail inside of my womb, and then it leaves the semen in them. When I fall pregnant, all the symptoms of a woman who would have fallen pregnant, I experience those symptoms. But what happens is that my stomach, it does not grow. It stays the way that it is. The other thing that we used to do when we were still running that canteen close to the taxi rank, we were strictly forbidden from washing those pots with soap or hot water. I just had to wash those pots with water, cold water. That was all that I had to do. But this snake, it made people to become addicted to it. So it was in the year 2020 when I was bitten by this snake because it wanted me to sacrifice my daughter. When I refused for my daughter to be sacrificed, that was when I saw the other side of this snake because it bit me, and now I have breast cancer, for it bit me on my left breast. I have cancer that we are managing with my doctors, but I am scared that this cancer is the one that is going to kill me. As for my husband, he said that there is nothing that we can do. Yo, dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to us by one of our DM sister. Let us speak about this in the comment section. Strange things indeed, they do happen in this world. Can you imagine? Yeah, name. I'll be back with another episode.